Take a look online and you will see there are hundreds and hundreds of stories about influencers going to prison, lying, and many other things. So, first of all, I want to touch on things I have seen on YouTube in regards to how to make a perfect video. And I'm afraid you're going to have to excuse my scattergun approach in regards to this video, but I'm just going off thoughts I have regarding this subject. So, as I'm sure if you're just starting up a channel, or if you've watched these videos, you can probably find out some information. We all follow the same format with these influencers. First of all, I have to tell you about how many millions have made. And secondly, they have to drop a few names, hopefully, that you've heard of. Thirdly, they show you some very dubious graphs alleging that this is the money they've made. And this is, how many views they've had on this particular video. It's all very suspicious. Who knows if it's factual or not. You have to bear in mind that views can be bought, channels can be bought, subscribers can be bought. Basically you can buy everything. But they never mention any of that, so I would take it with a pinch of salt if these are actually their videos and if these facts and figures are actually true. If you just condense down these videos, it usually lasts 10 minutes odd. You could condense them down for about 2 minutes because basically they're all basically the same. Basically, they're trying to sell you the course because there's always a course. But, buy this course and you will then be able to make a hit short or video, which is absolute pure nonsense. Of course it won't. Because they never actually tell you in these videos how to make a good short or video. It's all stage 1, get your thumbnail, stage 2, make sure it's your title, and stage 3, do these settings. The actual nuts and bolts how to make perfect video, of course, is in allegedly their course. So please don't, if you're going to get in these courses, please don't. And if you have, I would love to hear from you to tell me, did these courses that you paid for and how much did you pay would be quite interesting to find out. Did you follow their instructions and make a hit short or video? Did it actually help? Because I'd be interested to know. So following on from that, you've got to bear in mind influencers, and I think many people maybe don't think this or occur to them. I don't know, but influencers are there to make money. It's their job. It's, they have producers and they have script writers and, they have most of them have a team around them. But it's falling more and more to AI now, I have to say, because there's hundreds of sites that are just AI on YouTube, just knocking out absolute thousands of videos a week of absolute mind-numbing dross. But that's another video. So yes, you have to bear in mind they're there to make money. They're there to sell you something. They're not there to do you any favours or to help you out, really. They're there to give you some sort of general tips that, like I said, they could, in this particular video is about how to make a YouTube hit. They could condense that down to 1 minute. Then you get the other influencers that basically trying to hype a story, always sort of relate them to second-hand car salesmen. Not that I've got anything against second-hand car salesmen, but that's how I sort of relate to them. They're there to sell you something. So if it's not a course they're there to sell you, and it's not a product, like if you're on a TikTok shop or something like that, basically it's some overpriced crap that they're trying to, try to sell to you, and they'll say, oh, I use it every day and it's a fantastic product. Rubbish. They only got it about 5 minutes before they sat and made the video. They get sent all this stuff for nothing. Then they try and flog it onto you. Now, I'm sure you probably think, oh, well, it's all harmless, says Tim. What does it matter? It's harmless. Well, no, I'm afraid not, because then you get the other influencers that say, well, quit your job, take up gambling because I make £20,000 a week. Quit your job and follow my course and you'll make the same money. Well, it's an outright lie. But the thing is, people do. People have lost their homes, lost their jobs, marriages, and even their lives. And there's many stories online about influencers saying things like, I can cure cancer. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking again, well, you must be bloody stupid to believe some influencer could cause cancer. Well, there was a lady in America that was saying, in this vial is a cure to cancer, and people believed her. And people died, and an influencer went to prison. But like I said, I'm not going to go into details about. I'll be here all I don't know, weeks and weeks, talk about all the influencers' lies and how many of them have gone to prison and all this kind of thing. It's absolutely endless. Now, I hate to tar all influencers as bad people, but in my personal opinion, probably only 99% of them are bad. That small 1%, because they're all trying, like I said, I'm beginning to sound like them, aren't I? Because all they do in their videos is endlessly repeat the same thing and show you the same video clips about 1 million times. Because all that is obviously trying to make the video last longer. Probably I am doing it. I don't mean to. So yes, it is extreme. But like I said again, people believe them. I mean, they're absolutely, if I was to say some of the things that influencers have said, you would take no notice of me and say I'm a bloody idiot, and probably some other more stern, harsher words than that. But when you're surrounded by a nice set, you've got somebody who's probably attractive, not always young, but maybe late 20s, early 30s. Most of them, again, you get some that are a bit older, but they've got the gift of the gab. That's what it's all about. They've got the set, they've got the look, they've got the voice, they've got the personality, they've got everything, So they're good. Well, maybe I shouldn't say good salesman. Well, maybe I should say, they're salesmen, and some of them are. To be fair, some of them are fantastic salesmen, and that's how they make their living. But again, you have to realise, this flash set that they're, what's the rest of the house like? Even if it is the house, half the time they go and film these videos in apartments that they hire. They hire cars, they hire apartments, they hire flats, they hire studios, they hire clothes, they hire a set. This so-called Prada bag that I'm trying to flog you is actually a fake. But I'm going to tell you it's real. That kind of influencers. There are many type of influencers, but they're all the same. They're all glorified salespeople. I mean, you get influencers saying they're giving away things, and it turns out, well, actually, they're not. Or they only gave away 2 or 3 of whatever particular item it was, not hundreds like they said they was going to do. But the ones that really do gripe on me are the ones that blatantly give you false stories. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples, and they are real examples. And they are examples from videos that went viral or did extremely well. And we actually stop and think, and when I'm going to tell you them, they're going to sound absolutely ridiculous, and you're going to call me an outright liar, and I've exaggerated, and I've just made it up, and it was nothing like that. But I can assure you it's not the case. So I'm going to give you some examples that I heard be roughly about 4 months ago. Now you have to bear in mind, these ones are on TikTok. So a majority of TikTok videos is like most videos on like YouTube Shorts. It's just mind-numbingly nonsense where no thought is required whatsoever. So this, when you're an influencer on that and you're trying to get across your message, you've got to bear in mind that the person that's come across your video has probably watched about 20 mind-numbingly boring videos where no thought was required, and suddenly you've got to stir their moral compass. You've got to try to get some emotion, some conflict. You have them, as they say, that 2 seconds to make an impression. So so basically it's like trying to sell a newspaper, trying to sell anything. It's got to be something that's going to stir your emotion in them few seconds. So it doesn't matter if it's true or not. So these examples, just outright lies. For instance, Labour is going to introduce a curfew. That was about 3-4 months ago, and it got thousands upon thousands upon thousands of views and likes and shares and comments about, I'm not going to take any notice. The comments, I went through the comments, I'm not going to take any notice if he introduces curfew. I'm still going to go out and all that. Well, really? Think about, people believed it. in their tens of thousands, this video, it was huge. I can't remember what the figure was. It was huge. You're talking like 80, 90, 100,000 people at a particular point where I saw it, what it ended up at. Obviously, I got no idea. But all these thousands of people in the comments section slagging off Labour and going about I wasn't going to take any notice of it. Well, engaged brain. First of all, why would they do that? And do you really think that is true? But 99.9% of the people who comment and shared and all that, believe me, believed it. Another one. Labour's going to ban bacon. Well, a mass uproar online about that one. I mean, why? And he said, there's this report that came out, of course, cancer. Now, that was true. Now, I did a bit of research into this to see what it was all about. About 10, I think it was over 10 years ago, at least 10 years ago, they did a study on meat, and it turned out it slightly increased cancer. So he took that part that was true, and then he added on Labour was going to ban bacon because of this study that had just been done. But it was about 10 plus years ago. I don't know where he dragged it up from. But again, this is what I mean. It doesn't matter if it's true or if it's totally untrue or if it's just slightly true. Then, that's that. If I said to you 10 years ago, there was a study done and, bacon slightly increased cancer rates, it's like, I'm not interested. But if I say, well, Labour's going to ban bacon, add that to it, well, that's different. That puts a different spin on it. But this is what they're good at, and this is what they do. And this is why it gets me angry, because it is not harmless, because it shapes people's opinions on things. It could be their political view, it could be their opinions on asylum seekers, whatever it happens to be this video, it gets, changes or shapes people's mindsets. So it is not just a bit of entertainment, it's harmless. No, it's not. If people watch these videos and didn't believe them, then that would be different, or if it was, I don't know, so 1 or 2% believed it, then again, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Depends, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. But it's not, it's like 90+% of people who watch these videos believe it 100%. And what gets me is these people, about 3 or 4 months ago, who watched these videos saying they're going to ban bacon, which obviously, it didn't happen. And then the curfew, obviously it didn't happen. When they see then the same influencers next video, they don't tap away on a keyboard. Well, this ban bacon never happened, and it's been about 4 or 5 months ago. It's all forgotten about. It's the new outrage now that influencers trying to push. It doesn't seem to matter to people that none of these things never happens, because it never does. All the things that these influencers say is going to happen, the government's going to do this, going to put this tax up, and this is coming in, that's coming in. 9.9% of the time, it never happens. It never was going to happen. Well, people just, that's it, it's gone, forgotten about. We're on to the next outrage now. I think people just love conflict. They want conflict. When do you ever get a good story in a newspaper? Good stories don't sell newspapers. So that's what these influencers are there for anyway. They're there to stir the pot, and if they're not there to stir the pot, they're there to make money. Which I'd like to hear your views on this. I mean, have you been affected? Have you fallen for buying a course, or buy something where you can make millions of pounds from gambling, or bought some product offline because it was going to change your life? Which obviously never does, because it's a piece of crap half the time. So excuse me. Again, I'd love to hear your opinions on this, because in the past, when I've spoken out on this subject, people hate it, absolutely hate it. And I sort of think to myself, well, why do they hate it? I think it's because it's like calling you an idiot for believing that video, for making that comment, for not thinking, well, what this influencer's told me is an outright lie, for buying them perfume or shoes or whatever it was, that Swiss watch or whatever happened to be, that diamond ring wasn't what he was sold. It was a piece of glass or whatever. It wasn't the real deal. So you feel stupid, and I think this is the thing when people like myself say, I hate influencers, calling them out, and we highlight these things. It's like, I don't want to know. I'm not interested, because you're subconsciously thinking, well, I fell for that, and you're making me sound like an idiot. Or I spent thousands of pounds, or I quit my job, or whatever happens to be, because of this influencer. So I don't need you reminding me how stupid I was. I think there's some of that in there. I mean, they are held in high regard, like some kind of semi-gods, these influencers, and everything they say is gospel. And it really isn't. This is why there's so much online. There is other YouTube videos, and there's things on TikTok, or if you just do a general Google search about, hundreds and hundreds of influencers that have been caught out downright lying about their products or what they do or their lifestyle. They say that these influencers will say, oh, this gambling technique I used makes me, £10,000 a week. And it turns out we're living in some crappy little flat somewhere. So it's not harmless. It's outright dangerous, absolutely dangerous, when it's causing people to lose money, their lives, their livelihoods. It is not harmless. But again, I'd love to hear your views on this, because I'm sure you're going to disagree strongly with probably everything I've said. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like I said, I will reply to your comments. And I just want to touch on one other thing that's just occurred to me in regards to AI. Now, AI is taking over YouTube, especially YouTube Shorts. There's a massive thing about YouTube Shorts at the moment, about YouTube Dross. There's hundreds and hundreds of AI sites on YouTube, just pure everything. The whole thing, start to finish, is done by AI. So AI does the editing, the thumbnail, the script, the title. Zero contribution by a person, basically. It's just totally taken over. So that that makes things even worse, because a human can only do so many videos of lies in a week, where AI, they can make thousands of videos a week, and they're literally pumping them out. So they're even worse because they have no feelings or comprehension of the damage they can cause. Where a human, if his or her got any morals, then that's slightly different. But machine has zero. But as long as people keep believing, as long as people keep sharing and liking and watching these videos, then it won't stop. And it is terrible on YouTube. It really, really is. So I hope that people will start to, as I say, wake up and start challenging these influencers or these second-hand car salesmen when they're trying to flog you something, and say, prove it, show me proof. It's all right, you sat there saying, well, I make £1,000 a day from my videos. Prove it. Show me your chart. Show me your paperwork. Show me proof. Because I can sit here and I can say, well, I make £20,000 a day. It's ridiculous. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.